This is functional horsemanship. I've gotten quite a bit of comments and some interest in my functional tie ring, and I've mentioned on a previous post I did about how I utilize this tie ring to tie my horse to everything from the sides of trailers to the insides of trailers and the snubbing posts. And I mentioned that I also use them on my cross ties at my shoeing stand and at my wash rack as well. People have written me, asked me how do I do that, how do I put these up on my shoeing rack or my shoeing stand. So here's my shoeing stand right here. I got some overhead cover. I've got some 2 1/4-inch metal poles that go in the ground about 4 feet on both sides, and I've got an eye bolt that's through about 5 feet tall, maybe a little taller, and bolted off. I've got the tie rings hooked to both sides, and all I do is I take some of that 9/16 yacht braid, that white yacht braid rope, the same type I use for my lead lines, or I make for macates or rope and reins as well, and I cut about an 8-foot piece, and on the end of it I put one of these nice brass barrel snaps, you know, that I can hook to the halter, and I'll melt the rope into itself. I'll take cotton line and tighten it down with the knots underneath it, and then I'll put 2 layers of black shrink tubing on there, and I've had them last like this for, I've got one going on about 8 years now. It's in the sun in the round pen constantly, so it's a pretty good little setup. Sometimes people would like poppers on lead ropes. I put the poppers on. I don't need them for my shoeing stand here, so I just got an 8-foot length of rope with the brass bolt snap here. So I can lead a horse up here and I can cinch him down. I can give him some more slack, and what this does is when I get a horse, particularly a young horse, on a shoeing stand and he gets spooked or whatnot and he pulls back, what continues to scare that horse and what causes a lot of wrecks isn't the fact that he's tied hard and fast to a conventional shoeing stand or any type of anchor system, but it's the pressure on that from that halter, whether it's a rope halter or a webbing halter, doesn't matter, but he pulls back, his head goes up, and it puts pressure on his pole here. If the halter's tied correctly, it'll put pressure on the behind his jaw. The horse feels traps, something's going to break. He may flip over, his feet may slide out from underneath him if you're on the concrete. I've seen a couple wrecks like that, especially with young horses, and they can get hurt, and then you have a hard time, you know, getting them sacked back out on a shoeing rack or a wash rack. But in any case, this system right here, if my horse decides to pull back, and I'll have to artificially make him, he starts to pull back, and the line feeds out. The line feeds out in the functional tie ring in a controlled manner. He's got time to think. Or if I just got a fidgety horse and he's moving around, a lot of horses that may have some ring bone or side bone issues, you get them on a hard stand, they start moving around like this, so you got to reposition them back up to the shoer. You just bring them back up, cinches back up like this, and it's really a safe way to tie horses. You know, so again, I've got 2 tie rings here, one on each side, about an 8-foot section of lead rope, that 9/16 white yacht braid, and that's how I use my functional tie ring as a safe tying system for my shoeing rack. I hope that helps. You have a safe journey.